Hello everyone, my name is Daniel. I'm an emerita academic. I help on a volunteer basis my son's old school, Marcq Institution, to recruit English language assistants. Let me introduce you, Ben, the successful candidate of this year. Could you please, Ben, tell us who you are and where you come from?
Yes, hello, I'm Ben and I am the language assistant this year at Marcq Institution. So I come from Durham University in the north of England and I'm on a year abroad at the moment, so I have to spend 1 year in France as part of my studies, and I chose to come and work at Marcq Institution.
A well-known option for the language assistant route is the British Council programme. Why didn't you apply to this programme?
Well, I looked at the programme and I looked at the option that Marcq gave, and I decided that Marcq was the better option because you get a proper job, you get to work for 20 hours a week, which is a lot more than if you were doing the British Council, and so you become properly integrated into the school, which I think is a lot better than working fewer hours for the British Council.
And what does ELA work consist of in Marcq Institution?
So I work for around 20 hours a week with different teachers, so I'm usually always with a teacher in the classroom. I often turn up to a lesson and the teacher has told me to prepare something in advance on the topic that they're studying, and I turn up and I do the lesson. So I work at the smaller of the two sites, so there's only 16 classes at the smaller site, which means I get to see every class every week. And you get to know the children very well, which is really nice, and you get to know everyone's name and they all know you, so it's a brilliant opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Could you please tell us your first impressions when you arrived?
Well, the first time I got here, I got off with the tram with all my suitcases. I walked down the street, and then I saw the big chapel at Marcq Institution, and it was very spectacular to look at. And I thought, wow, look at where I'm staying for the next year. I then got to the apartment, because another thing that's brilliant here is that the language assistants, we get a free accommodation for the year. So I got to the apartment not sure what to expect, and we have this huge apartment from being used to student accommodation last year. This is far better here, so it was great. I also saw Lille for the first time the first weekend, and it's a lovely city, very friendly, lovely old buildings in it, and my impressions haven't really changed since then. It's still a very nice place to work, and I'm very sad to be leaving next week.
Good. Lille is indeed a vibrant French-Flemish big city with 36% of the population being under 25, more than 100,000 students, and a good network of high-speed trains. London can be reached, as you know, from Lille within 1 hour and a half, and even less, 30 minutes, considering the time difference. Well, now, what are our suggestions to make the most of a stay at Marcq Institution as an English language assistant?
Well, I think three things I would suggest. First of all, I would suggest making sure that you're an active assistant at the school. So having an initiative and running with it. For example, I came and I decided I wanted to do an English theatre club, and we've just had our third performance just yesterday evening, in fact, and that was brilliant to get the children using English in a sort of practical capacity, on their feet using English. So I think make sure you're an active assistant, do initiatives. Also, when you're in the classroom, don't just sit there with the teacher having a chat. Make sure you go around, speak to the children, make them interact with you. I think that's very important. I think my second thing to say would also be to get to know the staff as well, the colleagues you're going to be working with. Everyone's very nice who I've met, so make sure you get to know the colleagues, because that's the best way as well to practice your French, so you're not speaking English all day. And the third thing is to make sure you get your correct visa on arriving in France. because the French bureaucracy is somewhat difficult, as I discovered the hard way. So make sure you turn up with your travailleur temporaire visa rather than making a muck-up as I did on arrival.
I can gather from what you say that you recommend being a language assistant at Marcq Institution, don't you?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much, Ben. Marcq Institution was very happy to welcome you. You've been a good ambassador of your university and an asset for us here. Last but not least, you've just brilliantly passed a difficult language exam for non-native speakers of French, a DALF C1 with more than 70%. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We are really pleased, Ben, that you've had such a good and fruitful time here with us. We all wish you the very best for your future. Thank you.
Thank you.